This is some of the worst news I've gotten all year. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, to be honest with you. So we got some news about Hawkeye Season 2 and why Jeremy Renner isn't doing it. I think a lot of us assumed that it was obviously because of Jeremy Renner's accident and the path to recovery probably being a really intense one. He did an interview recently on High Performance, which actually they have a YouTube channel as well. I'll put a link to the video down in the comments because I really think you actually should watch the whole interview. It's just such a interesting and uplifting interview. But to get to the meat and the potatoes of this video, I want to highlight a specific part, and that is the part where Jeremy Renner talks about his relationship with Marvel and Disney and why Hawkeye 2 didn't happen. Hawkeye Season 2 didn't happen not because necessarily Jeremy Renner wasn't willing to do it. It was because he wasn't willing to do it for what they offered him. I kind of want to put a trigger warning in here because I feel like this is actually so insulting. So if you know anyone that has been in a life-threatening situation and has gone through that recovery, if you have experienced that, just a heads up because this might be triggering to you. Basically, afterwards, he was in talks with them to potentially do a season 2. And the issue that he had was that they offered him half the money to do it. Now, Jeremy Renner says in the interview, he didn't want more money. He just wanted to be paid the same amount that he was paid for season 1. And I think it is so insulting of the people in charge of the coin purse there, which I also love. Something that Jeremy Renner clarifies in the interview is that, you know, he doesn't really feel like it was Marvel necessarily, like the people at Marvel or even the people at Disney. He said, you know, this is the accountants. This is the people that make the money choices that are deciding what that number is. And so I guess they just felt because I had been run over that I was half of the person, that I'm now like have half of the capabilities or something, so I should only be paid half. I don't know what they were thinking, but it was pretty insulting, obviously. He responded by telling them just to go fly a kite, which I love. Good for him for standing up for his work, his values, and his time. And honestly, he said the thing is that for him to do it for half, it just didn't make any sense because it's going to require double the amount of time for him to get to a place to be able to do it because of what he went through. Because, I mean, the man literally died and was in a coma and has come back from that, I think, stronger in a lot of ways, even than he was before. I think the experience really did help him to just really hone in on what mattered in his life and stand up for his values. And because of that, they think that he's worth half. Like, that's just so insulting. But I do love that he differentiates between the fact that, you know, it's not necessarily those people. And I think it is important. I mean, I did another video where I kind of talked about Marvel paying their artists and the issues with that. But it is important that we remember that it's not necessarily probably the creatives that work with artists, that work with actors, that are there on the sets. These aren't the people that are probably making these calls. It's someone in a totally different department that honestly, I understand that they're the person that looks at the money, so I understand why they make the calls, but maybe they shouldn't be making the calls, you know, because they don't seem to understand the value of the character. And the thing that I love that Jeremy Renner says in addition to this is that he's not saying he would never do it. He was insulted and he turned down the offer, but he said it's still something he would love to return to because he loves the universe, he loves the character, and I love that he just loves the world so much that he wants to come back despite the fact that he was treated in a way that I feel is super disrespectful to him as a person and as a performer. And you know, Hawkeye is such an interesting and valuable character, I think, in the MCU and in the Marvel Universe because Hawkeye really represents the capability of just us as individuals. Hawkeye is just a guy. And while there have been implications before of him having, you know, super enhanced vision, which was a thing. I'm looking at you, Civil War II. What the heck? But really, he's just a man. And what I love about the character is when you really strip back who Hawkeye is, especially in modern comics. I really feel like the Matt Fraction run on Hawkeye with David Aja really shaped a lot of what I love about this character in terms of him just being a guy that's just kind of trying to get through the day and make it to the next one. He gets super messed up, but he never gives up and he fights for what he believes in. And for Jeremy Renner to have gone through this and had that experience and stood up and said no is so Hawkeye, can I just say? I feel like it embodies the character. Like, Jeremy Renner is Hawkeye. I love him in the role, and I am sad that we aren't going to get a season 2 because people just don't know how to treat people. The fact that he also just didn't want more money. He's like, I didn't even want more money. I just wanted the same amount. Like, why not? Why wouldn't you pay him the same that you paid him for season 1? You want to pay him less after everything the man has been through? What? So yeah, it is disappointing, and I wanted to come and talk about it as well because I would have loved a Hawkeye season 2, and I know there's a lot of you in my community that love the show. I think a lot of us enjoyed Hawkeye and would love to see what they do next, if they were to do more with the character, and I would love to see him come back. So I'm hoping that the more that people talk about this, the more coverage that it gets. I love that high performance to this interview. Like I said, it's a great interview. They also talk about the experience of death and what it's like, the recovery, the road to recovery, how it changes you. And it just sounds like Jeremy Renner's in such a good place where every moment of every day, he says, you know, every breath, everything that he does, it's pure intention behind it. It's stuff that he really feels he wants to invest time in, and he has that different perspective now, and I just think it's such a valuable perspective to hear about because it is something I think more of us should be doing each day. We all kind of live our days sometimes just going through the motions and not really thinking about what matters. It gives you a less quality for your life. And I know it's hard because sometimes you feel like you have no choice, like you're stuck doing something, but you do have the power to make choices to improve your quality of life. And I think just having that perspective of, you know, I could have not been here, and so if I am here, I better use that time well in a way that I feel that I'm enjoying everything and that I'm making choices that I stand by. I think that's just such a interesting thing to hear more about, and there's a lot of wisdom. He also just released a book, so you guys can check out the book too. But yeah, I wanted to talk about it because I just feel that the more of us that talk about stuff like this, hopefully change happens. You know, as I've said before, I am a Marvel fan. Obviously, I know this. A lot of the content on my channel is Marvel. So know that when I'm doing these videos, I'm not doing it to hate on Marvel or Disney. I'm actually doing it as a fan of the companies because I want them to be better for us, for the fans, for their employees. And I think it's really just a choice that they have to make. And the more that we talk about it, the more that I believe that we can affect change and hopefully make them reflect on some of these decisions that were not great. Like the whole stuff with Dustin Nguyen that blew up, Marvel did reach out to Dustin Nguyen to talk to him about it. So that's great, you know? And who's to say that they might not reach out to Jeremy Renner? And maybe we will get a Hawkeye season 2. Maybe they'll be able to offer him an amount of money that he feels is fair for his time and his efforts, as it should be, to be real with you. Just pay him the same amount. Like, at least, come on. The man went through a lot. Honestly, I feel like it would be reasonable to pay him more because it's going to be more time. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to give you a little update on this because I thought it was interesting, and I think it's important that we highlight these things to affect change in the future. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts on Hawkeye season 1. I mean, it was a really great time. I'm very excited for when I will eventually get to return to it in my MCU rewatch, which right now I'm just doing movies, but I'm hoping when I get through the movies, eventually I can get back to the shows as well. And I think that's going to be a really fun one to rewatch. So let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, friends, as always, take care of yourselves. Value your breaths and stay nerdy. Bye. And if you want to check out me calling out Marvel on some stuff, you can check out that video here.